The economic impact of the war in Ukraine is tough on its allies, the country's First Lady has told the BBC, but as Britons count pennies, Ukrainians count casualties.
Here's a summary of the article.
The economic impact of the war in Ukraine is tough on its allies, the country's First Lady has told the BBC, but as Britons count pennies, Ukrainians count casualties. Olena Zelenska told Sunday with Laura Kunsberg that if support for Ukraine was strong the crisis would be shorter. In a wide-ranging interview to be broadcast on Sunday 4 September, Mrs. Zelenska was asked what message she had for British people who are facing soaring energy bills in part due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the impact that has had on global gas and oil prices. "I understand the situation is very tough. But let me recall that at the time of the COVID-19 epidemic, and it's still with us, when there were price hikes, Ukraine was affected as well. The prices are going up in Ukraine as well." Mrs. Zelenska's comments follow Prime Minister Boris Johnson's suggestion while visiting Kyiv last month that households across Europe would have to endure the cost of living crisis and stay the course with Ukraine to counter Russia's aggression. The Bank of England said the main reason for high inflation and low growth was rising energy bills, fueled by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Became Ukraine's First Lady when her husband was elected president in 2019, Mrs. Zelenska told the BBC that it was hard for people outside Ukraine to understand the impact of the war on its people, but it was important to share human stories about the toll the conflict was taking.
This post received a score of 9,200, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Crazy how insulated the US is. I was looking at nat gas prices yesterday, and the EU is insane while the US is almost back to normal. Energy independence is such a huge strategic asset, then you throw in the US as also a food exporter. There is just a massive disconnection Americans have on how hard the rest of the world has it, and how amazing NA is when it comes to resources. North America has almost perfect geography, geopolitics. Many of them don't realize that much of the world is on the brink.
Just got gas yesterday for $2.97 a gallon.
Just got gas yesterday for $8.24 a gallon here in Norway.
What a terrible headline, given what was actually said in the article. It was more along the lines of, Russia is causing both Britons and Ukrainians to suffer financially, and our people are dying as well. Definitely didn't seem like she was minimizing the suffering in Britain. Just pointing out how shitty Russia is and how imperative it is to end the war. Not a great job with the headline, BBC.
The fucking BBC, man? No one in the UK has dreamed of putting a question to the Ukrainians like this. What do you say to British people who are struggling to pay their bills?
We may be counting pennies now, but come wintertime if things don't change soon we'll also be counting bodies. The cost of a basic living and energy in the UK is already exceeding that of full-time minimum wage work. Large numbers of people are going to have to choose between food and heat, and if we have a cold winter, the results will be dire.
If the wealthy can heat their mansions whilst the poor freeze, then it is nothing but a political choice.
Even if Ukraine fights off the Russian invasion, the end game is still bleak. Their economy has never been particularly strong, and with the massive borrowing to fund the war, it's a country that will be in the gutters for decades to come. With the massive debt, they have no chance being accepted in EU. Without the Russian invasion, foreign aid will dry up pretty quickly too. Slava Ukraine nonetheless.
I don't disagree Ukraine will continue to suffer post-war, especially economically. But it's either that or they cease to exist entirely. It's like saying to someone with a broken leg that recovery is going to be hard. No shit. Better than losing the leg or dying from an infection from lack of treatment.
The economy will be wrecked for a few years. But with the proper work and investments they may become South Korea or Germany. Both had their own countries completely devastated and now are world powers.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.